Game 58 of 82 scheduled for the Dallas Stars tonight and the Phoenix Coyotes. Ralph Strangis and Darrell Ray to call it for you, and we welcome back to the American Airlines Center for the first time since his departure from Dallas, Mike Ribeiro, who posted 3 seasons of at least 70 points with the Stars. His career mark in the 07-08 campaign with 83 points. Fraser, he paces Phoenix, but with just 40 points this season, which is under the norm. And you know, Ribby, he can be in and out of it sometimes.
Well, Doug Armstrong did a lot of great things as general manager here, and one of those great things was to acquire Mike Ribeiro from the Montreal Canadiens from Joni Niinimaa, who almost immediately after that ended up back over in Europe. Ribeiro tried hard in that loss on Tuesday in Glendale. At times, he can be guilty of trying a little bit too hard. I love watching him play. I think he's a terrific competitor, wonderful with the puck. I bet he's good tonight.
In front of family and friends, and at center ice, it's Cody Eakin, Eric Cole, and Rich Peverley. For Cole, it's been a little while for him. No goals in his last 7 games, but third with 14 on the club. Cody Eakin swatting it in, and that goes off Chipchura and into the stands.
Well, the last thing Lindy Ruff reminded his players about on the ice surface here this morning at the skate was they played last night, we didn't. So no doubt he wants a brisk attacking start. Make the Coyotes chase them here tonight. Don't allow them to get their tail in the air ahead of them and try to grind this game down and pick up points here in Dallas.
So we begin again at center ice. Rich Peverley got it back, and again things stop up with an icing call against the Dallas Stars. 2 whistles in the first 14 seconds.
Cody's saying that one caught him. Took the visor back off again too. Getting the stitches out tonight. As soon as the stitches came out, the visor comes off. So he will return as one of the 4 Dallas Stars who don't wear a window.
Only Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn have more points than 23-year-old Cody Eakin. Dallas's top 4 scorers are 24 or younger, including the 18-year-old Val Nichushkin. Beverly locking up there with the former star Jeff Halpern. Stars win the puck, and Brendan Dillon partnered with Jordy Ben. Got it ahead to center ice. Cole pivots and finds it at the line, and Beverly unable to drag the leg and stay onside, and so it's
going to prompt a line change is what that's going to do. He had 2 icings. The center iceman got kicked out of the face-off circle, and then they went offside, and that usually prompts a switcheroo. Dave Tippett didn't think his team got out of the blocks very well in that 3-1 loss to the Stars. Turned the puck over, didn't compete for pucks. I'm having a tough time getting this one going.
Linesman,
we're on pace for about 1,000 whistles tonight. Not a good sign early.
No, that's no good. Vern Fiddler, the one-time Coyote, got it back. Goligoski to Daly. Dallas's defensive pair fire it on in. Zabinik McCulloch up the boards. Mikkel Bodker unable to get it up. McCulloch will try it again, but he turned it over toward Fiddler. Ekman Larson sprayed it toward the line. That's Daly walking, shooting. Hit Garbutt and Vermette, and here come the Coyotes. Vermette, their leading goal scorer, he's got 21. Bodker has picked up more points than any other Coyote away from Glendale this season. And a centering feed comes out to the line. Murphy shot it, blocked wide by Vern Fiddler. His stick broken on the play. Garbutt foraging forward along the boards. Shoves it ahead to the stickless Fiddler.
Needs help.
He'll get it now as Roussel joined in. The Coyotes backing out, and Alex Goligoski weaving his way through center ice away from Tim Kennedy with Bodker on his back, trying to shove it deep, and he does. Dallas wins tonight in regulation. The Coyotes and the Stars will have identical records, 27-21-10. Puck launched into the Dallas zone, and Kevin Connaughton again in the lineup tonight out there with Gonchar. It's Nichushkin down the wing. Throws it at the net, and Mike Smith with Ben and Seguin lurking.
I would think Smith's puck handling will be a key portion of the Coyotes' ability to work their way through this game here tonight. He's got to be the best at doing that in the league now. You know, Brodeur's on his last legs with the New Jersey Devils. Marty Turco's been retired for a few years. A lot of guys handle the puck well, but not like him. I find it interesting, though, that Kari Lehtonen has twice as many assists. He has 2, Kari has 4.
Although Smitty's got 14 penalty minutes this year, so he's the rougher customer.
That's second in the league. Ray Emery leads with 30.
Yeah. Well, Jordy Ben down the board. Chason engaged down there with a 37-year-old Coyote captain, Shane Doan. Whitney tried to center it, and Phoenix's Doan comes ahead. Rattles it in. It came hard off the corner. Ribeiro chipping it in deep. Jordy Ben's back there, moved it away, and Jordy is clocked behind the net. A penalty coming up against the Coyotes. Whitney takes the line, cuts to the middle, he shoots, he scores! The Wizard has Dallas up 1-0.
Boy, was he gifted a lot of room to waft in and find the top shelf on that glove hand. The penalty was to Klinkhammer for the hit from behind. He tried to hold up and tailgated Jordy Ben, knocked his head into the boards. The delayed penalty, just copious amounts of open ice in the slot for the Wizard. Step to the inside, some token stick checking from Stone. And upstairs, Smith's glove hand was unbeatable the other night in Glendale. For Whitney, just 4 shots and 1 assist in the last 7 games, so he makes his presence known early in this one.
41-year-old can still get it done. That is his 7th of the season. Stars lead at 1-0. Connaughton trying to force the issue, but they shoot it ahead, and here comes Jeff Halpern into the Dallas zone. Pulling wide, shooting. Gonchar blocked it, and a pileup in Kari Lettinen's net, resulting in a penalty against Dallas upcoming. Yandel moves it over. Stone from the line. Vermette's the extra attacker. He's on in the high slot. Stone shuffling it deep. Eric Cole gets enough of the puck to draw the whistle, and now the penalty.
Connaughton's going to go off. Chipchura was the guy who drove the net as their 4th line got out here and immediately went on the attack. Hooking is the call. Boy, there have been some very puzzling penalties against Connaughton this year. He got it in there immediately. I go for interference on it, more so than hooking. At any rate, he's detained. Coyotes go to the power play. Scored early last night on it.
Yeah, both their goals in the 2-0 win came on the man advantage, and they've got a good one. They're 6th in the NHL, but way better at home than they are on the road. There's Smith handling the puck. A good pass ahead to Doan. Roussel forcing him to give it away. Vern Fiddler took a skate, shot it in off Roussel. Yandel from back of his net. Verbata has 7 power play goals, including one last night to pace the Phoenix Coyotes. Goligoski whisks it around. Ekman Larson holding it in. Back of the net, Vermette. Bodker sliding through in front. This is Doan. Out to Ekman Larson, returning it to Shane Doan. Shot it wide of the net and out the far side.
Boy, not by much, and was utilizing Goligoski as a screen on that one as he stepped to it.
Doan has 15 goals this season, looking for his 12th season of at least 20 goals, and Ribeiro has that go off his stick and about 10 rows up.
Well, the big key to their power play has been Keith Yandel, their defenseman, sits amongst the leaders in power play assists. Scored their opening goal last night. 18 helpers is pretty good. Quite a list, too. Giroux, Crosby, Carlson, Nick Backstrom, who sets up Ovechkin over and over again. Ovechkin's going to be a 50-goal scorer again this year.
Yep. Garbett getting past Yandel. Hansel turning it over to Verbata. Hansel missed last night's game with an illness. Back in the lineup tonight. Verbata in check. Ekman Larson holds it at the line. Ribeiro attack. Jordy Ben is breaking, and the Stars will settle to just pump it down the ice.
I don't know whether Garbett didn't see him or made his decision to rifle it down the ice early, but he could have sprung Jordy Ben there.
Yandel had trouble with that puck at center ice. Here's Kari Lettinen's handling abilities, and it found the safety screen over the glass.
Stars penalty killing was terrific on that road trip. They went 8 for 8. Last 2 home games, not so much. Killed just 2 of 5. And the importance of the penalty kill for me is enormous. The Stars have made the playoffs only twice, the Dallas Stars have, without a top 10 penalty kill. In '97, when they were best overall in the league, points-wise, when they were 14th, and '07 when they were 11th. Otherwise, make the playoffs, they're top 10.
Well, they're working on it. Stone shot that wide of the net. Korpikoski centered it, and Fiddler has a step on Schlemko. He'll take it across against Stone. A backhander and a save, Mike Smith. That is the game's second shot. First shot of the game, Stars scored on it was Ray Whitney, and Phoenix, as the power play expires, yet to have a shot on Kari Lehtinen. Jamie Benn tips it forward, Connaughton out of the box with a long pass towards Sagan, and a good play as Schlemko leapt up but then turned it over to Daly. In come the Stars. Daly tossing it to Benn. He shoots. That's blocked. Sagan skated past it. There's a broken stick in the corner. It's McCulloch's. Stars will try and exploit this. That's Sagan finding Nichushkin. He shot it. He hit the post.
Did he ever?
Benn bumps it back out to Gonchar, hands it off to Daly. A short feed to Nichushkin goes amiss, and Bodker will clean it up inside his own line. 5.5 gone in the first period. 1-0 Dallas. Ray Whitney's 7th goal of the season. Final game before the Olympics break. The Stars can go into the break, assuming they win in regulation and other things happen as the 8th seed in the Western Conference. Back of the net, Moss tried to burrow his way through. Now sends it toward the line, but the bouncing puck eludes Oliver Ekman-Larsson. The young and extremely talented defenseman slams on the break. Shakes Jason's tail and moves it up to Stone at the Dallas line. Toward Chipchura, Horkoff had the check. Halpern puts it back at the net, Jordy Benn. In the corner, untangling himself from Moss, and out come the Stars. Horkoff lost it at center ice. Ribeiro surveying his options, and he sneaks across the line. Tried to whip it across to Doan. It hits Peverley and then comes right back to Doan. Shot it, save Lehtinen. Ribeiro from the wing pumped it in, and Kari Lehtinen sends us to break. After Ray Whitney on the game's first shot mystifies Mike Smith for a 1-0 Dallas lead.
Val Nichushkin was just talking with Ray Whitney on the bench. I tried to go the same spot you did, and I hit the pipe. 10 goals since December 1st for Val. They caught a break. McCulloch had broken his stick, and a little delay up top. He had to double clutch it. Because he double clutched it, Korpikoski went right through the block area. And you could tell from the body language on Smith, he was bewildered as to where that puck was headed.
Val had a point-earning goal in San Jose in the third period to tie the game to end the trip. Stars lost that game in overtime. Overtime has not been their friend this season. To jam up in the corner to Lettinen's left, Peverley gave it over to Brendan Dillon, unleashed it quickly. Yandel holding the zone. And Jordy Benn's pass, too far for Eakin. Stone sends it up. Doan from center ice tossing it over. Jordy Benn being pursued by Ribeiro. Stars get it through to Cole up the middle. Here comes Peverley. Yandel defending, others coming for Peverley. Pass it across to Dillon, a shot. It comes to Eakin for a drive and a save Smith, and Cole put it over the top of the net. Goligoski passing it to Cole. Swivels, and then it's knocked down, and he'll beat Ribeiro to it at the Dallas line. Goligoski, as his team changes, fires it around the board. Smith unable to cut that off. Benn overskates. Hansel to the line. Daly held it in. Whipped it into the corner for Jamie Benn. Peeked over his shoulder, and Goligoski, as that pass was intended for Sagan, unable to hold it at the line. Nichushkin to Sagan. Good feed. Stopping toward Benn. Benn had Nichushkin cutting to the net, but he was tied up.
Oh, Ekman-Larsson read that beautifully.
Goligoski fired it wide. That's Sagan back of the net. Looping around out toward Benn. Keeping Kennedy away. Wanted to return it to Sagan. It's blocked. And Verbata to Kennedy at center. Daly has it for Dallas. Backing into his own zone. And then giving it to Alex Goligoski. Stars are changing. He's the Stars' leading defensive scorer. Goligoski in to Roussel. Pumped it around to Fiddler. Turns away from Hansel. In front to Garbett. Couldn't deflect it at the net. It was clogged up. And Bodker jumps on the loose puck at center ice. Passing it over. Korpikoski hands it to Vermette for a shot. Save Lehtinen. Dillon jamming over there in the corner. So is Garbett. Garbett had a monster game. He was the game's #3 star Wednesday in Phoenix. A goal and an assist, 4 hits, a couple of block shots. And he goes after Vermette. Pass gets into Bodker, slams on the brakes, tossing it back out to the line for Murphy. Over to Schlemko, moving in. Passing down low, and Vermette tips it wide. Vermette again out of the corner. Shot into the glove from Klinkhammer, and Lettinen keeps the Stars on top.
Not a real sizzler, but it was headed high glove, and Lettinen had a beat on that all the way. Stars with good work getting out of their own zone repeatedly here early again tonight. Springs that chance. Peverley with the great burst of speed through neutral ice. Just a lot of ice, though, to gobble up. Pretty questionable marking by the Coyotes in their own zone, and then the Stars overload on one side. They'll give up that shot, I guess, from that distance against that man.
Now it's Ribeiro and Horcoff to Kari Lettinen's left. Doan finding possession. Ribeiro in the corner. Horcoff not giving him much space. Ribeiro so tough to get off the puck. Passing to Doan. Goligoski shoved him. Horcoff to muscle it away.
That's where the Stars have been harder. On one-on-one pucks.
Stone holding the line. Ribeiro and Daly back of the net. And Goligoski swings it over to Whitney. Here come the Stars. Up the wing to Chiasson across the line. Finds Whitney again. It went off his stick. And Ribeiro comes back to protect at his own line. Verdone alone and converged upon. Kevin Connauton used the word the other night, platooning. He's platooning with Aaron Rome. He's in there tonight. Now Cole takes it down the wing, cutting, shooting, and that's blocked as Eric Cole tried another brazen trot down the wall. Midway through the first period, the Stars lead the Coyotes 1-0 in Dallas.
Had purple tape on their sticks, honoring the memory of Darren Richardson. Luke Richardson, a former NHL defenseman, lost his daughter, took her own life 3 years ago. She'd be 17 today. There's a charity called Do It for Darren, mental health awareness, and the boys jumped on board this at the request of Ray. Nice work, man. They do a wonderful thing in Canada with Bell that sponsors it. Bell Let's Talk, to raise awareness for mental health. Sad story, but trying to do something good out of it, Luke and his wife. So good work. Nice gesture and a beautiful tally on the top of all that.
Sure. There were millions and millions of tweets and retweets and mentions. Well, let's talk. They really are doing great work. Trevor Daly off the Dallas faceoff win. Cole standing at the line. Back of the net, Peverley going after the puck. McCulloch attempting to tame it. He fell down. Peverley picks it up. Vermette crashing on him in the corner. Eakin waiting for it to come free. McCulloch takes it back of his net and then flings it up a little too far for Bodker, but right in on Lettinen to keep the play moving. Daly up the wall. Eakin didn't see it. Cole does. And trying to corral that bouncing puck. Now Peverley to Eakin in the corner. Yandel has a piece of him. Eakin trying to cut away. Korpikoski forcing him to the boards. Bodker up to Korpikoski. Daly. Big contest for that puck at the line. The Stars come away with it. Goligoski in, feeding it to Cole, but it bounces away. Finally taken by Martin Hansel. Pass across to Yandel. He'll shoot it in. Yandel, top 10 in NHL scoring defenseman. He comes into the game tonight with 37 points.
Stars need to get on top. Stay on the accelerator here early on. Don't allow the Coyotes to kind of find their legs here tonight. Hang around this thing. You can tell that they're a step behind here in the early going at times, but the Stars haven't been able to execute at the level that they'd like to. The shots are low.
Ribeiro retreating to attack with a pass to Connor Murphy. Back into the middle of the ice. Sagan steals it, gives it to Ben. Here comes Ben. Stick lifted by Klinkhammer, but he prevails. Passing it back at the net. Murphy slammed by Ben, allowing Sagan to find the puck. A shot from Gonchar deflects wide.
It hit Nichushkin in front of the net. Good work deep by that pair.
Gonchar played it to the open wing as the Stars were changing. Roussel on with much alacrity and enthusiasm, per usual. His father took, he said, over 1,000 pictures this week. Always had the camera around his neck. Roussel to Dillon. Up ahead to Fiddler. Across the line. Byrne gets past Yandel, only to find Moss. Garbutt in the corner. Yandel shakes it loose. Jordie-Benn backing out to center ice. He'll ease it forward to Fiddler. Roussel can't get past Stone. Garbutt waiting for it to come free. Roussel down and back up amidst 3 Coyotes. Moss comes out with the puck.
This line's tried to drive some energy into the game for Phoenix.
Chipchura to Halpern, a shot loose in front, and Fiddler trying to find it. Halpern's right there, and he pumped it, but it's blocked. Moss relays it wide. And the Stars come out. Dillon to center ice. Bumped into Garbutt as he put it in. Zbynek McCulloch with a pass to Mikkel Bodker, who lost it outside the Dallas line. They'll try it again. Not very many shots. 3 apiece with under 7 to play in the opening period. McCulloch up ahead. Vermette steering it in deep. Goligoski puts on the brakes. Daly up ahead to Whitney. Good feed for Horcoff. He'll take it in stride. Leave it for Chiasson. Moving in. He shoots. That's blocked by Yandel. Goligoski already backing out, trying to defend Vermette. Cross the ice for Ekman-Larsson. Into the Dallas zone with Chiasson on his back. Goligoski moves it quickly. Murphy kept it in. Puck gloved down by Radim Verbata. Into the corner, too far for Tim Kennedy. Vermette let it go. Schlemko turns it over to Horcoff. And Goligoski pirouetting to try and get out of the zone. Stars changing. Kennedy moves it in quickly. In front to Hansel, who was tied up by Eakin. He went down. Connaughton fell, but got it ahead to center ice, and now Whitney trying to come back again to defend. This one batted into the corner. Hansel threw it in front, and Whitney on his way to the bench for a change. See what Yandel does. Now for Stone. They lost Derek Morris during the game last night. Stone played 21 minutes. Well, with 5 defensemen for much of the game. And here's Stone. Eagerly forward, shoots it around the boards. Too far for Doan, but Yandel steps away from Cole, only to run into Sagan. Gonchar blocking the pass. Another battle along the boards. Kick to the line, Stone holding it again for the Coyotes. Rob Klinkhammer wanted somebody out at the line, but the defense were changing. Sagan in pursuit. Doan turns it over. Beverly passing it to Cole. To move his way past Ekman-Larsson. Cole barging in forward. Cole, back of the net. Cole. And that one swatted to the corner. Nichushkin claims it. Back out toward Jordie-Benn. Deep to Sagan. Puck was a few inches in the air, giving Sagan some problems. McCulloch will try it again. Hinging it back to Ekman-Larsson. Shot it forward to Chipchura. Dug it out of his skates, but Moss over skates, and the Stars clear it again. Nichushkin, it hit him. He couldn't get away, and Ben comes charging in and runs over Halpern.
The Stars so dearly needed something like that. They got to make a decision here how hard they want to play tonight.
And there goes Jamie Benn. Taking the line, Nichushkin in front. Ben tips it wide. Halpern back up, and he'll use the glass to crank it into Dallas ice.
I mean, just kind of wafting through this opening period is exactly what the Coyotes were hoping for. At worst, if you and I were in net right now, it would be 3-3. That's how few shots there have been.
You'd have stopped at least one.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
Daly from center ice, shooting it deep. Schlemko jostled but got it out to center ice. Bodker shut it down at the line. Vermette twirling along the boards. Backhand feed to Murphy off the wall. Gently into the corner, that's Schlemko, the defenseman. Garbitz in there with him. Vermette losing out to Daly. And then trying to get a grip on him. And Garbitz pass, deflecting off Horcoff's stick. Schlemko will hand it to Murphy.
These two teams might not hit double digits tonight in shots on goal. Just like a bad... Oh my.
Now Gonchar having trouble with the puck. Shot from Hansel, not much on it. Lettinen took it away.
Like a bad Swedish Elite League game.
This doesn't happen much in the Swedish Elite League. Jamie Benn knocking down Jeff Halpern. Stars lead 1-0.
Some of the Stars brain trust upstairs witnessing the finale before the Olympic break. Jake Mill in the middle, his Stars up 1-0. They're hoping after the break with the little mini camp to get Stefan Robidas back into full fray. He's wearing he's been redshirted essentially. No contact when you're wearing the red jersey in this sport, but he's back skating. I watched him do some lines today with stops and starts. Of course, broke his leg against the Chicago Blackhawks here a while ago. Coming back from that, he's hoping to be back in the lineup in mid-March.
Which is, as the Stars go outside, of course, ahead of schedule. Pound for pound, one of the toughest humans you'll ever meet. We've got a really nice feature on Stefan, the injury and his recovery coming up at the intermission.
The boys on D would love to have Steph back. Leadership standpoint, too, for the entire group. Wears an A as an assistant captain.
Gonchar firing it in. Cole slamming his body into the corner. Coyotes fidget it out, and Vrbata to center ice. Beverly goes rink wide. Stone slaps it out. Icing, maybe, no. They wave it, the puck died. Gonchar dropping it to Connaughton. The pass unintendedly finds Cody Eakin. Beverly dragging it into Phoenix ice. 5 of them drop back. Eakin in the corner. Pursued and hunted. 2-a-side battle. Benn tossing it back to his elder brother. Shot from Dillon. Blocked it. Hit Kennedy. Finds Jordy Benn in the high slot. Again giving it to Dillon. Now over to Beverly. Knocking it deep for Cody Eakin. McCulloch pursuing. Into the corner. Jordy Benn crept off the blue line. Firing it. That hit Smith in the head. Beverly cranked from behind. A penalty coming up against Phoenix.
Some strong protestations from the Coyotes side of things. As Hansel makes his way off. Shot off the earlobe of Smith. And then on the tail end of that, as Beverly goes to get the puck, he takes a shot right in the lower lumbar from Hansel. Not much of a shocker there. Stars go to the power play. The top power play goal scorer over the last 10 games for Dallas is Sean Horcoff with a pair. He's their secret weapon.
And when the other night in Phoenix, Tyler Seguin leads all Stars with 6 power play goals, and Jamie Benn and Sean Horcoff each have 4. Coyotes penalty killing has been really good lately, but 25th in the NHL, and here's Goligoski, a shot deflected by Chiasson just wide. There's a guy who needs to score. Benn, Goligoski shooting. Smith tips that out of play.
Yeah, Goligoski's an important guy to this power play. He's gone 4 games without a point. Power play's 1 for 11 in that span. Symbiotic relationship that all top offensive-minded defensemen have between power plays and points. When it's rolling, the points are coming with frequency.
Vermette defeating Chiasson, but Seguin out at the left point to hold it in. Final minute of the first period. Chiasson back of the net. McCulloch chasing him. He gave it to Jamie Benn. Blind feed to Seguin. Moved it over to Goligoski. Passing to Cole. Jamie Benn finding the puck. Seguin shooting it. Saves Smith. Seguin's got such a hard shot. Quick release. Benn attempting to set up Cole. Half a minute left in the period. Goligoski straight away to Seguin. He was jammed with the pass. Picks it up off McCulloch. Firing it all the way over to Cole. It's tipped Eric Cole found it at the line for Met. Couldn't clear it. Here comes Cole walking into Seguin, and the pass hit by McCulloch. 15 left in the frame. Goligoski swinging it over to Jamie Benn, who's got some ice. Comes right back to him off Vermette. Goligoski, a shot, saves Smith, rebounds loose. Vermette clears, and that'll do it for the first period.
Boy, the Coyotes are very fortunate this isn't 2-0. The Stars power play had them right where they wanted them. You want teams to chase you when you're on the power play. Both forwards, Vermette along the boards, thought he could get it out, couldn't. And then right after that, Korpikoski up top gets chasing Stars, work them. They had essentially a 3-on-1 from the top of the circles down and never got a shot on net.
So it's Ray Whitney. He gives Dallas the 1-0 lead after 20 minutes. And when we come back, a remarkable story about a tireless athlete, Stefan Robida's attempt to return comeback. XA21 is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By Sports City Toyota. By the Dallas Stars Little Rookies program designed by Mike Modano. Sign up your little rookie today for a free hockey camp. By Q Clothier and Rich Hippie, official wardrobe provider of the Dallas Stars. And by North Star Healthcare. Walk away from foot pain. Ralph Strangis, Darrell Ray, the Ice Girls, and a sellout house at American Airlines Center tonight for the Dallas Stars and the Phoenix Coyotes. And Ray Whitney, former Coyote, 41-year-old, has the game's only goal raiser in what was not exactly the most titillating of opening frames.
No, there have been a few of those lately. The prospect of the Olympics and some time off upcoming, and coupled with that, the amount of hockey in a short period of time that all these athletes in the NHL have been forced to play because of the shutdown.
Of course, Phoenix played last night in Glendale. They beat the Hawks 2-0. A mechanical problem. They didn't get until 3 in the morning. Stars open the second period. About half a minute remaining on the power play, and Sagan's entry pass hits Chason. Stars reorganize. Cole moving it in. Taking it to the corner, centered it, but right to Moss, and he'll split the point men. Lettinen slapped his stick down, but it's in the no-handle zone, so Goligoski will go get it. 15 remaining on the Hansel late period cross-checking call. Alex Chason, 1 goal in his last 29 games. Sagan settling it, shot it wide of the net. Chason recovering. He'll pitch it into the corner for Cole, who helps it around to Sagan. Coyotes are back at full strength. Chason jammed, couldn't get it off. Cole tapping it back to Goligoski at the line. Firing it over to Sagan. Lost it in his skates, recovers it along the boards. Finds Goligoski for a shot. Smith saw all the way and kicks out of play.
Good defensive play by Korpikoski, who's heading to the Olympics with Team Finland on Chason right in front of Mike Smith. Just as Hansel was getting back on the ice. He had a concussion earlier this season, missed some time. Speaking of guys who haven't scored in a while, they were schnut to schnut. 13 games for Korpikoski. You mentioned on Chason. That's a typical Finnish forward play, killing a penalty. Shades of Yuri Lettinen on that one. Right place, right time, strong play.
Here in the desert the other day. Now here's Fiddler and Roussel to the net. Roussel a shot and a save. Mike Smith. Fiddler, Roussel, and Garbett. Trying to put some energy into this one, and Smith doesn't see the puck. It was right at the side of the net. Garbett's whack at it came up second too late. Roussel bouncing off Hansel. Finding the puck in the corner to Fiddler back of the net. Stone poked it off his stick. Connaughton fed it deeper. Hansel to Yandel, the safety valve in front of the net, and here he fell at center ice, and a penalty coming up against Fiddler, who had his stick in the vicinity. There's the power play.
Boy, just the type of shift that the Stars need out of this trio. They get in there, grind it out, get it to the net. That's just a dive. The stick was lifted, and Yandel, who just fell down. So accused of tripping is Vern Fiddler, and Yandel and the Coyotes power play get on the job right after liberating Hansel. Man, they missed one there. Shane Doan is as good a net front guy as you're going to see. Last night, they opened the scoring early on. This should be an example to all others on how to go to the front of the net. That's him on the circle. Just watch this. Goes to the front of the net against Hjalmarsson, rocks him once, sticks him twice, jockeys for position in front, and because of that work, and then fills his ears in on the tail end of it too. We just scored on you. He reminded him, in case he didn't know, as Yandel scored from distance. Some guys go to the front of the net like their nails are still wet. He doesn't. When he goes there, he's there to do his job. Jockey for position, screen the netminder, occupy the defender. And he did all of that on their opening tally. Ended up being the game-winning goal for Phoenix last night. Are they looking at that puck that hit the outside of the skate on Smith?
It's the only thing I can come up with.
There it is. And watch this. There it goes.
And that, whew, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Smith has survived.
I think we're all okay. Second power play of the game for Phoenix. They're 0 for 1. They were 0 for 2 on Wednesday night. And Eakin in there sniffing. Ekman Larson picked him off. They wanted to even it up. They could have there. They did not. Ekman Larson headed to represent Team Sweden in Sochi. And here's Yandel. Giving it to Vermette. Took it over for Bodker. Puck jumps to the middle of the ice. Bodker swinging. Roussel went down, cut off the lane. They return it to Bodker, now across for Yandel. Shooting it off the post. Bodker slipping it back out. Ekman Larson for Yandel. Ekman Larson straight away. Bodker in the circle in front. Vermette, a shot fought off by Kari Lehtinen. Peverley takes it forward, shoots it down. Up wildly in front of Smith. Ben's on with the change and onside, but he could do no business against Verbata.
What a move, though, on Ekman Larson. The dainty barbarian came off the bench and pirouetted. Just about got free.
Garbett. Jamie Benn across. Here's Ben. Drags it, shot it, blocked by Schlemko.
Been trying to shoot the puck as quick as possible lately. That time he dusted it off a little too long. Allowed the block to set up.
Ribeiro shot it in. Jordy Ben moves it over. Schlemko unable to keep it in. It came off the linesman and out, which is sort of a bad break for the Stars.
Well, it was a bad play by the Coyotes trying to keep that puck in initially. A chance for them on the power play. Two guys we were just talking about. Kari Lehtinen had that one sail over his blocker and off the pipe on the short side. That's been a loud net down at that end. Good look at Doan trying to screen, take the eyes away from Kari Lehtinen, force him to look through that body to find the puck and track it. He had something called Rocky Mountain fever that knocked him out of the lineup for a long time. It's a tick. I thought it was something else when I heard it was Rocky Mountain fever.
Or perhaps.
But there was a bud involved with it. It's legal out there now,
yes,
you know.
Yes, it is, yes. Ribeiro brought it in. The Coyotes turn it over, and in 10 seconds, the Stars get Fiddler back.
It's been another good penalty kill here. Yeah, they got a little bit fortunate on the shot by Yandel that caught the outside of the pipe, but they haven't given them much.
This one explodes off Hansel to Jordy Ben. He'll flip it out and it right into Schlemko's chest at center ice as Fiddler returns. Stars have killed their last 10 against them. Schlemko wiring it in from center right to Kari Lehtinen. He'll keep it moving.
I think the Stars really have to find a way to extend this lead, though. We've seen Dave Tippett teams too many times hang around a game.
Ooh, there's Ekman Larson with the full pirouette and a shot that got through. Lehtinen, I believe, got some of it. Sagan bursting his way in against McCulloch. Back of the net, Ekman Larson. Through the pass forward, and Roussel keeping it in. Nichushkin going after Mike Smith. Went down to one knee to work it forward, and out to center ice come the Coyotes. Kyle Chipchura hunted. Got it forward too far for Halpern. No icing. Connaughton put his stick in there. Gonchar trying to wrap up Halpern, who had a busy night last night against the Hawks. He had 8 hits in the game. This time he's pinned to the boards. While everyone else waits for the loose change to emerge. Now it's out. Ben, Seguin, Nichushkin, Connaughton ahead to the Phoenix line. Ben in front. Nichushkin back to Seguin, and he couldn't finish the play. Ben for Seguin along the wall. He smacked it off the side, and Ben tried to backhand it in. It goes 11 rows into the stands.
This all started with some great grunt work and support by Tyler Seguin in the Stars zone. You know, they're all in there. Looks like a rugby scrum along the boards. He's like the 8th man. Waits on it, and then decides, I'm going to pick this out of here strongly. Here it comes. Wait for it. It's exciting. There it is. And then away they go and transition the other way. Little backdoor, maybe a little bit of flippy-dippy from Nichushkin to Seguin on the drive-by. The only player above him in league scoring also not going to Sochi is Opozo, the winger for the New York Islanders, who would be a fine fit for Team USA.
Yeah. You see, you could also make a great case for Opozo.
Sagan's 11th in NHL scoring.
Here's Vermette, the Dallas zone. Korpikoski lost it. Daly poked it forward. Here's Chiasson to the line. Ray Whitney, man with the game's only goal. Back of the net, Horcoff. Trying to pivot away. Chiasson has it. Worked it over to Horcoff. Vermette giving chase. Chiasson stretched out. Daly scampering. Tried to center it, hit the back of the net. Chiasson keeping good body position against Schlemko. Worked around to the near side. Horcoff cuts to the middle. He shoots, tipped just wide in front. Daly passing it back out to Horcoff, finds Goligoski, moving in, shooting it. Mike Smith snares it with the glove. Under 14 minutes to play in the second period. 1-0 Dallas.
The race for 8th in the Western Conference. 5 teams are separated by just 4 points. Vancouver lost again tonight in Toronto. They've got 4 wins in their last 20 games. 4?
Yeah.
Winnipeg lost in a shootout to St. Louis, so they picked up a point. Minnesota's been able to pick up some points lately, and then you have these Stars and these Coyotes who are meeting for a second time in a half a week. The ups and downs. Really, everybody's picking up points except for the Canucks, who are thrilled the Olympic break is here.
Yeah.
The Eastern Conference, there are 7 teams separated by 3 points for 8. 7.
Going to be a great finish. Coyotes try to even the game up, and the puck comes out too far for Cole. He'll collect it and bring it ahead. Cutting into the zone, tried to drop it. It stays with him. Now he fired it, and Eakin tipped it wide.
Stars starting to get their defense activated a little bit more. It was Jordy Ben up on that one. Earlier it was Trevor Daly. Hand pass in neutral ice here stops up this spasm of flow. I don't know whether this puck just stuck to... He had the right idea. I think as he dropped it, he caught it with his skate blade, and it just followed right through again, or maybe even his blade. Boy, that was chicanery right there. He tried to lay it back. You'll hear choice words on the bench about that attempt.
Sure.
Just 1 goal in the last 10 games, trying to be the setup man there.
Hansel urges it over. It's Verbata crushed in the corner. Nichushkin worked it over. Gonchar up ahead to Seguin, who wanted it, and it's going to be icing against the Stars as he was unable to find it.
Sergei Gonchar trying to feed that one up off the mark there. You know, he's the only Stars defenseman that was a first-round draft pick. Wow. And you never see that. I mean, every team has multiple first-rounders. He's the only one that was picked in the first round. He went 14th overall to Washington back in 1992.
He's going to spend a little time in the sun, too.
I asked him this morning whether he'd been to Sochi, and he said, yeah, that's where they had their mini camp for the Russian team in the summer.
Not on the team. The 18-year-old Nichushkin is. And now it's the elder back of the net. Connaughton, his young partner, trying to fight through. Nichushkin deep to help support. Ben's there to lift it away, but he can't clear it past Ekman Larsson, whose shot is deflected by Doan wide of the net. Doan spilled in front. Hansel gave it to Verbata, out to Ekman Larsson. Works the line, shot it, blocked in front. Connaughton knocked it to the boards. It hit Hansel, and so he's in a crouch. Connaughton whipped it around. Seguin trying to escape McCulloch at center ice. He pushes it over the line. Nichushkin's right next to him. Laid it out for Gonchar. A shot. Smith with the glove.
This is such a gorgeous setup all the way up the ice. Not very often do you get a chance to wade into one from the ladies' tees as a defenseman, and Gonchar goes disgustedly back to the Stars bench. Seguin had to kind of run away or delay as Nichushkin got in his way. In comes Gonchar, and a sassy glove grab by Big Mike Smith, his best of the game.
That would have continued Tyler Seguin's point streak. It's currently at 7 games. Mikkel Boedker reaching. Tap it back. Keith Yandle. Harassed by Antoine Roussel. He gets help. And the Coyotes move it into Dallas ice. Trevor Daley with a short feed to Vern Fiddler. Chunked it over the Phoenix line. Shots at a premium tonight. 12-7 in favor of Dallas as we get near the midway point of the game. Garbutt knocked it forward, but not far enough. Now fired it across. Fiddler in a hurry against Yandle. Forcing him to pass it off to Vermette. He gets the return and then goes rink wide off Boedker. Goligoski there to find it. Both teams making changes. And pass knuckles into the zone. Chiasson and Schlemko in the corner. Horkoff scraped it off the wall. He has Ribeiro on his back. Turns it deep to Chiasson. Left it for Whitney. Fell down, attempting to inspire a call. None came. The Coyotes clear. Jordy Ben has an assist in the game tonight. So does his partner Brendan Dillon. There's the man who scored it, Whitney, who kicked it into the middle of the ice. Klinkhammer intercepts, and he'll start the charge back over. Doan shooting it. No trouble for Kari Lehtinen. Win an all-inclusive getaway to Tampa Bay with the Dallas Stars on April 5th, courtesy of Powerade. You and a friend can win airfare, game tickets, hotel stay, and spending cash. Register today at DallasStars.com.
They've been one of the surprise teams in the Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay. Every time you look at offense from players under the age of 25, it's Dallas Stars and Tampa Bay Lightning players.
So had the current rookie of the month. This one shot to the line past Chipchura, and there goes Nichushkin. Got Schlemko to beat. Nichushkin drops the shoulder. Tried to shoot it. Schlemko blocked it. Ben chasing Chipchura. There's Moss. Jordy Ben hounding him, and it's lobbed at center ice. Came down. Seguin fired it off the glass. Goes after it. He'll get there ahead of Schlemko. Centered it for Ben. It came in on goal and a save, Mike Smith.
Chance for the Stars with the fourth line of the Coyotes on the ice and their third pair on defense. Lindy Ruff slips his top unit out here.
Here come the Coyotes, though. Chipchura. Daley kept him away. Seguin hustling back to help out. Cut from Hansel. Goes ricocheting back to McCulloch. Ekman Larson. Seguin right there. Dillon gobbles it up. And out comes Brendan Dillon to Nichushkin at the line. A little out of Al's reach. Ekman Larson turning towards center ice. Cole cut him off. Kennedy lost it at the Dallas line. Cole and Peverley into the Phoenix zone. Cole shot it over the top of the net. Eakin bumped Hansel. Connaughton kept it in. It drops back at the net. McCulloch's a step ahead of Peverley. Ekman Larson into the middle. And Kennedy looking forward at the Dallas line. Gonchar clears. Hansel drives it right back over. Lehtinen got some of it. 9.5 left in the second period. Peverley's pass. Connaughton following up. Into the zone. Turns on the Jets. Drops it back for Peverley. A shot. Smith swallows it. Midway through the game, Ray Whitney has the Stars up 1-0 over Phoenix at the American Airlines Center in Dallas.
For the Olympiad in Sochi, Russia, Stars are going to send 4 individuals over there. For Nichushkin, Lehtinen, and Ben, it'll be their first time at the Olympics. Lindy Ruff was an associate coach with Team Canada in Vancouver in 2010 when they won gold. The boys had the jerseys on for an exclusive photo shoot the other day. I don't quite understand the Olympic jerseys. Really big neck holes on them. Maybe they're anticipating bigger necks on the Olympic athletes.
I don't know why that is.
The Olympics, I've been told, is a giant competition to determine whose ruined childhoods were worth it. Especially in ice skating.
That is awesome. That's great. Vermette and Fiddler. Dallas really dominated the dot tonight.
Vermette's third in the league in face-offs taken. Crosby's number one. He's not only good at it, he takes a lot of them. I believe that goes hand in hand.
Yes.
We're going to throw everybody out here until they finally deem it fair enough to drop a puck. There we go.
Roussel wins it cleanly. Daly a shot wide of the net. Garbett, Roussel, and Vern Fiddler. Nasty group of three. Trevor Daly deep to Fiddler, back of the net. Trying to cut underneath McCulloch. Garbett giving it to Fiddler. For Garbett, back of the net. Protecting the puck against Ekman Larson. Garbett tried to center it. Vermette tapped it. Bodker will go. And Daly stopped him in his tracks.
It's like a battle of patience, you know. The one side wants to bring it interior, but you don't want to bring it interior too quick, because if you do, you're going to turn it over and get people trapped.
Stars fight hungrily for this puck, only to put it interior, and Doan clears it to center ice. Ribeiro gives it to Bodker. Bodker curling at the line, passing it over and off the bench. Stone a shot, and the net is dislodged as Shane Doan went crashing in.
On the back door, I'm having some words with Garbett on the tail end of that. A little emotion, a little animosity might help this conflict here tonight. Here's the aftermath of it. Better look as he took a cross check from Garbett on his way to the front of the net, and that rocked Doan into it, knocked it askew. So the Coyotes captain will lobby for something to be called in the future and head his way back out in neutral ice, where they'll start this over again because he knocked the net off, and his argument will be, well, yeah, I knocked it off because I was shoved into it. All a moot point is they'll drop the puck here in a second.
Which actually is a pretty good argument.
They can't see everything down there, though.
Barrow and Horkoff outside the line. The Stars gain the puck. Sean Horkoff passing ahead to Ray Whitney. Working it deep against Stone. Chason tapped it back out. Jordy Ben lost it at the line. He'll protect it. Jordy Ben's been a minus player in only one of the last 15 games. Leads Dallas's back end in the plus-minus category. Whitney took it over, tried to nudge it forward to Chason. The Coyotes kind of got tied up together with Chason. Back out, Connaughton firing wide of the net.
Smith didn't see that.
Gonchar threw it at the net, kick save Smith. Whitney to Horkoff. Unable to get it off, and it's cleared past Gonchar. Long pass ahead to Ben, gave it to Sagan, moving in. Sagan shot it, save Smith. They try and work it loose at the side of the net. It is still loose. Nichushkin got shoved away by Hansel. Ben comes up with the puck. Out to the line, Connaughton a drive and a save Smith. Gets there in a hurry from Kevin Connaughton. And Ben again showing eager determination. Back of the net, it's Sagan. Keeping it away from Yandel. Nichushkin has it along the boards. Trying to come out, he got tripped up.
That's gotta be tripping. Wow.
It's not.
Wow.
Smith cranked it off the wall. Gonchar kept it in. Nichushkin also helping to keep Phoenix from exiting the zone. There's Ben in the corner. Back of the net to Sagan. In front to Nichushkin, but he missed him.
Stars were changing their D. Otherwise, that's where the defenseman would have been.
And Kari Lehtinen makes the save on a bouncing puck.
Another real good chance for Sagan to extend that point streak. This looked like precision guesswork by Mike Smith. He wasn't sure where this was. Short side high, it hit him, it rode the cuff of his glove and stayed out. There have been a couple close calls on that side. drop down. Lots of Coyotes back to help out defensively.
Ekman Larsson off the Chipchura face-off win, returning to his center iceman. Jeff Halpern back of the net. It's Tim Kennedy. Daly's on his back. Halpern rips it away. Feeds it out to the line for Zbynek Michalek, who shot. It's his own teammate on its way to the net. Cole forward to Eakin. He'll heave it along to Peverley into the Phoenix zone. Trying to squeeze past Michalek, who takes the man. Kennedy put it back in the net for Ekman Larsson. Eludes Peverley and strides to center ice with a pass to Chipchura. Threw it over. Daly intercepts. And here comes Trevor Daly, knocking it down the boards. Peverley and Connor Murphy in the corner. Cole has Eakin in front of the net. Now pivots and shoots it, and Smith grabs it with the glove. 5:44 remaining in the second period. The Stars won. The Coyotes nothing. After the break, huge games ahead for the Dallas Stars. You can be there with the Flex 4 pack. Choose 4 remaining Stars games. Save up to 14%. Avoid all Ticketmaster fees. Get your Flex 4 pack today. 214-GO-STARS or DallasStars.com/Flex4.
Not a high shot total game. The Stars outshot the Coyotes. What was it, 40-28 on Tuesday in Phoenix. And they're starting to take over the territorial play in this contest here tonight.
Fiddler leaning in, beat Halpern. Jordy Ben from the line kept it, shot it. It's deflected over the top of the net. Fiddler, Roussel, and Garbutt again. Fiddler has it jammed up in the corner. Roussel also in there with 2 Coyotes. Roussel to step out against Murphy. He was in an awkward spot. Phoenix bringing it up. Doan going after the puck. And he and Dillon go down in the corner. Dillon back up. Doan has it. Looking to center it. Out to the line. Murphy shot blocked by Roussel. Doan spun and fired, and that hit Moss.
Well, they've hit their own players more than they have the net here in the second period.
Fiddler from center ice able to get it over. And Garbutt going in there against Ribeiro. Doan banks it forward, and here comes the slippery one, but he turns it over to Whitney.
He's just been unnoticed here tonight. He hasn't had the puck much. I don't know that he's played all that much.
Chason against the stickless Murphy took it back of the net. Korpikoski ran right into Horkoff. Chason to Goligoski, a shot deflected wide. Horkoff wrestling with Korpikoski. Ribeiro in full protect mode. Murphy's retrieved his fallen stick. And Schlemko will pass it back to him.
That Horkoff line has given Lindy Ruff some good shifts in the game tonight.
Korpikoski belting it right into Lettinen's glove. Swung it around behind.
That's how you get your defenseman killed there. Last minute decision to release the puck, and Vermette pasted Goligoski,
who is back up. Alex flips it over, and it dies on Michalek's stick with under 4 minutes to play in the second period. Ben intercepting into Sagan. Sagan shooting, blocked wide. Sagan flipped it in front. Ben colliding with Mike Smith, who now gets his goal stick from Zbynek Michalek.
Jamie's GPS just went on the fritz there because he wasn't shoved in. He just ran out of real estate.
And get that recalibrated. Gonchar shoved Klinkhammer. Verbata. The pass hits Connaughton.
Right in the face.
Go out to the line for Michalek. Shovels it deep again. It's out of Hansel's reach.
They had 2 guys right at the net, and the safe play is around the board, so they went with the safe play.
Ben chopped it off the wall. Sagan tried to move it over right away. He had Connaughton in front of the net. Still does. Left it on the interchange to Nichushkin, who couldn't quite cutesy his way past Hansel, but then he finds it back. Nichushkin passed it over. Sagan shot it. Saved Smith. Mike could have shot it there. Here's Cole on another turnover. That shot blocked by Hansel. It goes out of the zone, and Dillon's in a race with Klinkhammer that he wins.
Another example where Val Nichushkin just deferred too much to Sagan. Sagan can wire it from that spot, but Val was between the circles in the slot. Test Smith.
Moss trying to turn on the jet, or Doan, pardon me. He turned it over. And Eakin and it follow him toward the line. Peverley got it in. Eakin in a very unclean series of exchanges here.
Well, this ice is pretty chewed up right now, and it's tough to get the puck sliding on it, it looks like. A lot of bouncing, a lot of puck up on end here.
Moss threw it toward the front of the net. Lettinen shuts it down.
And they're grinding both sides. Tough to get any open or free ice. A chance for Nichushkin and one-on-one gift giving with Hansel in front. I mean, you got to shoot from there. Stone did have his stick out, fronting that offering a little bit. Spied Seguin off to that side. Seguin can be money from a stick length from the goal line there, but tough to get it to sit flat this juncture of the period.
Daly up ahead. Garbutt trying to get it out. Coyotes hold the zone for a second, and now Yandel. The sprint back for it. Shots 19-12 Dallas. Under 2 minutes to play in the second period. Yandel got it to center, skipped it in on Lettinen. They'll take the faceoff with Bodker in view.
Stars will lean on their ability to win faceoffs, and they've been good with that. They get the advantage here at home. Last 10 games at home for Kari, 5-3-2. The two part, both power play goals against in overtime, which has been part of the issue with the Stars playing past 60 minutes. They'd love an opportunity to get to the intermission and see if they can do what they did on that road trip so well early on. Protect leads. They did it in Anaheim to start it off. They did it in Phoenix when they were up on the Coyotes. Got to get there first, though.
Yep. Face up in the Dallas zone. A prone Halpern unable to play that puck, and now Dylan will. Shot it up. There goes Horcoff chasing it. He's in a race with Schlemko, and they wave it because Horcoff beat him to the dots. Whitney keeping it in. He goes crashing into the linesman over there, who got upended.
Ryan Galloway went. He had his skates whipped right out from underneath of him and landed square on his back. I'm sure winded him. That was the second most violent collision in the game tonight.
Yeah.
Puck comes around. He's watching the puck, turns around, nothing he can do, and landed right on his back. Maybe hit his head too. Dave Zeiss out to ask the questions to see if he can continue on. The good thing is there's only 1:20 remaining in the second period there. Oh yeah, you can see his head snap back. They're as tough as they come. No other sport asks their referees to break up fights, right? Step in there and they get drilled every now and then. They're big guys. They're extremely strong. They skate all game long up and down to cover so much ice. They have to be the third and fourth set of eyes for the two referees.
It's Jay Scherz with a black eye he incurred the other night in the desert. Chason back of the net. Halpern grabbing onto him. Chason releasing it for Horcoff in front toward Whitney. McCulloch blocks the pass. Jordy Ben lost it when he ran into Halpern. And the Coyotes move it out to center ice. Stars converge there. Final minute of the second period. Horcoff at center. Ekman Larson gave it away. Chason for Whitney. Ekman Larson lost his stick. Whitney pounds it into the center of Mike Smith's chest.
Yep, might have hit the Coyote on the nose there. An active and involved shift for the Wizard as he got in that collision with the Zebra and then gets to stepping on this one down the right wing side. They're playing a lot here tonight. More minutes for him in this one than usual. Almost at the 10-minute mark through two periods. There he is, 8 minutes. The only goal. And they've spent a lot of time, he and Horcoff and Chason, in the Coyotes' end as this game has moved through.
Ben asked to leave. Seguin will try Hansel. Ben went forward. Daly shot it. Save Smith with the blocker. He scores! Mike Smith is protesting that he was unable to make the save after it came off his blocker.
Well, Nichushkin was the guy who was crowding him. This is such a great play. Ben, along the boards, is the guy that makes this happen. Jumps the route, works away from McCulloch in order to spy Daly in the high slot. That quick shot gets away from the stick of Verbata. Anarchy ruled in the crease. No question he got bumped into. I'm not even sure whose goal that is. We'll look at it again, whether it was on its way in or Val shoved it over. I think it was Hansel's stick that knocked it over the line. It should be Daly's goal. Gonna review this. There was contact in front, but that's not reviewable.
No, I mean, the only thing that could be reviewed is whether or not it was a high stick or...
It's under discussion, I think, is the better term.
There's no way it was a high stick.
No. I mean, puck's in the net.
I think the Stars are up 2-0 here. They're going to talk to Toronto in video review with this. I'm a little vexed.
Yeah. Neither referee motioned any kind of interference call on the ice. Should be, if it's Trevor's goal, it's his fourth in his last 13 games, with one in his first 31.
And the only Dallas defenseman that's scoring at even strength. He had all those chances in San Jose the other night and couldn't get them through. He only had one shot on goal. I bet you he took half a dozen.
Yeah, maybe they're looking at the height of Nichushkin's stick if he contacted the puck prior to it going off Smith.
Oh, I'm sure they are, but it certainly didn't appear like it was above the crossbar when he made contact with it.
After review, the puck was hit below the crossbar, therefore we have a good goal.
So it's Val's goal.
He was like, I knew it. Dave Tippett getting a full explanation at the Coyote bench, knowing just the magnitude of giving up that goal in this game with a tired team on the road just before the second intermission. Not going to like what he hears, but kudos to the referee for giving him full explanation on what was talked about and why the goal was allowed. Little breathing room for the Stars here now, and boy, did they need that. They earned it. Spent a lot of time in this second period down in and around sniffing for the second goal against Mike Smith.
Nichushkin's 13th, second in as many games.
Sagan extends his point streak on that too, I believe. They give him a little something in there.
Daly and Ben so far. Centering feed, this goes off Lettinen. Hansel back of the net. Nichushkin there to engage him. Nichushkin trying to hang with Hansel. He did. Wrap around from Verbata. Korpikoski, a shot, pad stop Lettinen, and Jamie Benn clears to end the frame.
Big goal. Well, a little extra at the tail end of this too. Daly and Korpikoski were at one another. They'll separate this and send them. And the Stars will be 20 minutes away from a playoff spot and the Olympic break.
First 40 minutes for the Dallas Stars and the Phoenix Coyotes. They exchanged some paint and some puck battles. Ray Whitney put Dallas on the board first. Val Nichushkin has him up 2-0, and Ray Whitney joins Razor at the break. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Dallas Stars 20 minutes away from a top 8 seed in the West and the Olympics break. And they're up 2-0 over the Phoenix Coyotes, a goal in each period, and that one at the end of the second, Razor, was really a huge goal for the Dallas Stars in this game.
Because you know what the other side is all about, and you know, getting a little bit of insurance and the ability to survive unlucky bounce or a mistake in your own zone. Hang around the game, especially in the second game of a back-to-back. Stars did it the other night in San Jose. Dave Tippett prodding his club to do the same. That's why that one stung so much for their side and looms so enormous for the Stars on theirs.
They've been a bit erratic or consistent, depending on how you want to look at it. Phoenix has been alternating losses and wins over their last 8 games. Tonight, the loss is due. And they're in a 2-0 hole to start the third, and a turnover at center ice. Peverley is jammed up there. Ekman Larsson backhanding it in for Phoenix. Lettinen shoved it up. McCulloch unable to keep it, and then turns to knock it back over. Shots 21-14 Dallas through 2 periods. Stars have also won roughly 2 out of every 3 faceoffs, although Phoenix has closed the gap a bit. Yandel up ahead. Doan knocks it in. And Dillon slapped it off Stone. Sagan chasing after it. Smith gets the puck. And a penalty coming up against, or no, the puck was played. Well, let's see, what is it? It is a penalty.
A high sticking minor.
Phoenix 18, 2 minutes for high sticking.
Okay.
Wanted to wait for the colorful language to end as Moss got put in detention. There's a high stick right in the face of Brendan Dillon. Good work by our camera crew to catch this after the puck was sent up the ice.
Second power play of the game for Dallas. Stars are 0 for 1 with the man advantage. A power play goal in 8 of their last 11 games. This one could really help the cause. Tyler Sagan into the zone away from Korpikoski. Back of the net, he'll bank it out to Cole. Shoves it over to Goligoski. All the way over to Sagan, had to collect it off the boards, and then tied up by Halpern. Korpikoski shoots it down the ice.
Gotta be leery whenever Vermette's on the ice for the Coyotes, though. 3 shorthanded goals in just the last 9 games, and he came close to scoring shorthanded against the Stars in Phoenix earlier this week.
Van to Sagan. Pulled it down, gave it to Goligoski. Chase on back of the net for Sagan in the corner. Out to Goligoski. Passing to Sagan. Looking interior. Chase on opening up. In front to Ben, and a save Smith. Cole to Goligoski straight away, and that one's chunked out of there. Bravada chasing it. Goligoski caught him and then defended that pass to Vermette, who hacked the stick out of Ben's hand at center ice.
They pick and choose what they want to call. If they're not shorthanded right now, I bet you they call a minor on that.
That may be probably correct. Beverly shoots it in. Smith back of the net, takes a look up ice. And Korpikoski with the catch, but can do nothing against Gonchar. 22 left on the power play. Horkoff from outside the line. Needled it through to Peverley. Back of the net, worked it out to Whitney at the line. He'll shoot it, doesn't get through. Right back to Whitney. Down to Eakin. Out to Whitney. The Wizard finds Gonchar. Returns to Whitney. To Gonchar down low. Horkoff a shot. Saves Smith. Penalty is over. Moss is on. And a penalty coming up against Dallas. Korpikoski ahead. McCulloch shooting it. Punched out by Kari Lettinen, but right to the line, where Ribeiro gives it off. Gets it back. Delayed call. Ekman Larsson shooting it. Blocked by Sean Horkoff. Comes right back out to challenge Ekman Larsson. Finds Ribeiro. Passing it down and getting it back from Halpern. Ribeiro running it from on top. Halpern across the ice. McCulloch snapped it back out. Ribeiro a shot. Lettinen makes the stop and holds it. And now the penalty against Dallas.
Some pain searing through the body of Sean Horkoff at the other end. That first chance, perfect triangle setup. Working Murphy, the defenseman, down low. Little saucer pass by Seguin. This is succulent right here. Little flop over, quickly chase on to Ben. Splendid left pad save by Smith, and then he backs it up with another here on a tricky little backhand from Horkoff right in front of the net, and there was the penalty right after that. So it went from almost good to delinquent. Horkoff's not happy about it. I think the calls have been marginal both ways in the game here tonight.
Yeah.
Smith's got a skate issue over at the Coyotes bench. Might have kicked the post and lost his edge, so they're stoning that. And this Coyote power play will go to work. 14 power play goals last month for them. That won a game. This is another juncture of the game where Lindy Ruff would like his PK to bow up. They've done it lately.
Third power play of the night for Phoenix. 0 for 4 this week against Dallas.
Dallas penalty number 10, Sean Horkoff. 2 minutes.
Daly, Peverley out. Big Smitty back of his net. Looking off Roussel, protecting the puck and letting Yandel pick it up. Here he comes. Drops it back to Ribeiro at center. Swings it over to Verbata. Has a step. He shoots it. Lettinen got enough. Hansel to Verbata. Ribeiro lurking in front of the net. They go to Ekman Larsson for a drive. Lettinen makes the stop. Daly jockeying with Hansel. They find Yandel. Down low to Ribeiro. He shoots. Lettinen makes the save.
We're witnessing some radiant net minding by Kari Lettinen here in the third period. In tight, Ribeiro can't get this elevated quick enough. Kari was there and waiting on this one. After 2 saves across, skating, moving from his knees, little couple scissor kicks. Ribeiro could never get it to fully settle down. And if you don't elevate, you won't accumulate on today's NHL netminders. They seal the ice.
Ribeiro has points in 6 of his last 9 games. And he is the Coyotes' overall leading scorer with 40 points coming into play. Verbata found that off the faceoff win, shot it wide of the net. Yandel pressured by Ryan Garbett. Hansel for Verbata, back to Hansel. Starts pressuring over there, and Dillon will swing it down.
Good quick work by Garbett to get over there, read that, nudge it away. They kill off valuable seconds.
Yandel tossing it over. Ekman Larsson got it across, or Ribeiro got it across. It's hooked away, and Yandel pulls it down. Ekman Larsson. Yandel over to Verbata. Hansel's in front of the net. Ekman Larsson shot it wide. 40 left on the power play. Verbata holding it along the boards, worked it out to Yandel for a shot. That deflects wide. Hansel feeds Verbata. Relayed it in front, save Lettinen. Hansel hacked it toward the net. Here's Ekman Larsson. Passing to Yandel straight away. Lettinen doesn't have his goal stick. It comes into the near corner. The puck doesn't. Hits the goal stick, goes right to Eakin, who clears.
That's just solid placement of the loose stick by Kari.
Absolutely.
He's been marvelous here. Boy, that's Kari Lettinen never looks small in the net until Hansel is the eclipse in front of him.
Right.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
He looked like a little goalie.
Schlemko walked right into Goligoski. Loose puck. Horkoff's on, and he wants it at center ice. There goes Sean Horkoff. All the way in. A shot and a save. Rebound. Smith got that one, too, and he's contorted as he rolls to his back.
Well, I don't know what Keith Yandel was doing. He looked over his shoulder and essentially allowed the left-shooting Horkoff to have a pseudo breakaway on the way in rather than hurry him. That's 3. Yandel looks over, just stopped skating for a second, and because he stopped skating, it allowed Horkoff to rip this one. Good look from the other side. Yes, Yandel's worried about a drop pass, but don't give up that chance. And Smith was really deep as Horkoff tried him 5-hole. Showed it, took it away. Teaser.
Fades off to Smith's left. Ben in there with Vermette. Vermette wins it. Schlemko shot it out. Now Goligoski drops it to Trevor Daly. Ben Seguin, Nichushkin up front for the Stars. Val's goal has given them a 2-0 lead. Daly tried to center it for Nichushkin. Ben out to Seguin, a drive wide. And Bottker protects the puck. Round behind his net for Schlemko, who reverses it to Stone. Came out to center ice. Bodker handed it off, and Lettinen takes it away from Klinkhammer. 13:47 remaining in the third period. Stars lead the Coyotes 2-0.
Game summary, the Stars trying to keep their little run of points going here. Points in 7 of the last 8. Whitney opened the scoring early on the first shot of the night. Nichushkin continuing his fine rookie season. Show you the 2 goals in the game. Whitney on a delayed penalty. Klinkhammer was going to get the minor. Kick the top corner right underneath the socket on the glove hand side of Mike Smith. And then in the final minute of the second period, some gritty work off an offensive zone faceoff by Ben. Reviewed for a long time. They say Nichushkin with the deflection in front. It was lower than the crossbar when he did so. The puck kind of had an inside curl to find its way inside the pipe. That gave him a little breathing room before the second intermission. There's your goal scorers. The young and the old. I don't know where the restless is.
23 years between the two. Dillon shot it around. Eakin chasing a spinning puck at the Phoenix line. It's cleaned up and shot out of there by Stone. Beverly from center, reinserting. Jordy Ben down the boards against Moss. Stone tapped it in front for Yandel. Eakin got a piece of it. Moss takes it over. Jordy Ben knew that hit was coming. Stopped, gave it to Dillon. Used the boards to clear. Yandel threw it into the middle of the ice. Horkoff wrestling to get there. Yandel has it again. Here's Ribeiro. Flipped it over. Connaughton dealing it to Gonchar. Drew 2 forecheckers and gave it to Connaughton, who sprints ahead to center ice. Horkoff on the wing. Chiasson galloping after it, and it's poke checked away. Chiasson racing to hold the zone. A little help from Connaughton, he did. Whitney. McCulloch's on his back. Horkoff rescues the puck and then is shoved by Hansel into the boards. Horkoff right back up.
Hansel's a one-man wrecking crew.
Yeah. He hit Chiasson right after that. Tried to get Whitney, who was probably too small. And the puck shot all the way down the ice. It's icing against the Coyotes.
A savage shift by Big Hansel. Obviously his tummy's better tonight.
Yeah.
Stars have been stingy recently. They've yet to give up a goal here tonight. They've allowed, by my count, 2 or fewer in 6 of the last 8 games. They had a similar stretch back in late December when they did the same in 5 of 7. And you look at their record in those games, 5-1-2 on this recent run, 5-0-2 back then.
Yep.
Defense is where it's at, baby.
Ben, Seguin, Nichushkin in the zone. Ben for Seguin, he shoots it, saves Smith, and they give him the whistle.
Well, the referee was blocked out by his body, and it would have looked from his angle like he had it caught up in him. Smith gets that. On another chance for Seguin, who's had a boatload of opportunities in these 2 games against the Coyotes. Big seam through the middle of the ice. Ben and Seguin change the point of attack. Quick shot. The body language on Smith got the whistle.
Face-ups to Smith's right. It stopped 90 of 93 in the last 3 games coming into tonight. 24 of 26, also very good. Bodker forwards, Daly stretched out, and Fiddler will take it over. Into the corner. Took the check from Stone. Bodker bottled up. Garbutt out to Roussel. He shoots it just wide. Daly back of the net. Garbutt slung it all the way over and out the far side. Antoine Roussel, who almost scored there. The game-winning goal Wednesday in Phoenix. It was his first goal in 20 games.
His other game-winning goal was that penalty shot in Chicago. And the Stars beat the Hawks despite being outshot 50-18.
Stars turn this over. Moss blasting again just wide. Yandel, Cole steps off the bench right as Yandel was shooting it in. Jordy Ben Tried to lift it out. Doan holds it. Moss knocks it deep. Ribeiro trying to protect the puck in the corner. Eakin ripped it away. Cole working his way past Yandel into the zone. Cole in front, a shot, it's blocked. Cole stays with it. He drew a penalty against the Phoenix Coyotes. Great work by Eric Cole.
Well, the Stars are starting to lean on them a little bit. There was a little gust from the Coyotes early in the period. Here's this chance for Roussel. I don't know whether Daly called for it or not. He should have. He would have been wide open right beside him. Instead, Roussel just took it to the net. Cole just abused Yandel on his way in there, had his shot blocked, but that whipping motion from behind by the Coyotes captain has him in the box. Apparently there's been a second minor as Ribeiro finds his way, I would say, to solitary confinement, but there's two of them in there, so they can visit with one another. Undisciplined, yeah, that'll be an eye roll from Dave Tippett, as Ribeiro has really not had an impact on this game with the puck, and now with his mouth has put the Coyotes in danger of losing any hopes of coming back in this game.
Got to get at least one here. Vanden Vermette to Smith's right. Cole, Whitney, Goligoski, and Seguin. Goligoski up the face-off win to Seguin. They'll switch sides, and Goligoski poked it in past Ekman Larsson. And the Stars throw it away. McCulloch up ahead to Vermette. Careful with him. Shot this off a stick and face-off in Kari Lettonen's zone.
That was not a very good decision with the puck. There's only three guys out there. Just eat it on the boards and wait for one of your mates to come over. Eric Cole, who got the Stars on the power play, that time burped it up. They'll have to start this thing from their own zone.
Ben and Halpern to Kari Lettonen's right.
Jeff Halpern, he's either going to cheat and win the draw or he's going to cheat and get kicked out. It's one or the other.
He just cheated and got kicked out. So Ekman Larsson will try it with Ben.
Now Ben's going to get kicked. This is just silly.
Okay, here we go. Seguin beats Ekman Larsson, as you might suppose. Alex Goligoski angling left through center to the Coyotes line. He'll swing it back for Ben. Takes it over. Got away from Halpern. Now they'll spread it out, set it up. Goligoski to Seguin. Down to Whitney. Dusting it off to Cole. Missed him. 1:20 remaining on the two-man advantage for Dallas. No shot yet at Smith. Cole. Ekman Larsson attacks him. Seguin on top. Shoots it. Saves Smith. Rebound to the corner for Cole. Back out to Seguin. Interchanging with Goligoski. Seguin passing to Whitney. Back out to Seguin. Took his eye off the puck. Shot it just wide. Cole has it along the far side. Seguin to Goligoski. Back to Cole. Goligoski had to lurch forward to keep that in. Seguin unchallenged. Down to Whitney in front to Ben. He's covered. Passing back to Whitney. Shot it. Saves Smith. And he holds it long enough for the whistle.
The Stars 5-on-3, it was a disaster in a recent home game, and this one, again, not going well. There's not a lot of movement on it. Up top with Seguin and Goligoski, they didn't switch sides. The only chances they had were two bombs from distance by Tyler Seguin. You should be developing automatics when you've got two extra guys out there.
Horcoff locked up. Nichushkin went after the puck. It's loose, and Horcoff swept it to the corner. Banks it out to Gonchar. Horcoff goes to the front of the net. Gonchar for Daly. A shot. Saves Smith. It pops over the top of the net. Nichushkin, who has a goal already, gave it to Peverly. Out to Gonchar. Daly's opening up. Gonchar shot it. Smith grabs it, and that's a little better.
Well, that's what I like about this second unit, who have scored a lot of the power play goals for the Stars during this segment where they've been hot with the extra man, is they come out with two defensemen, especially Gonchar, who's eager to shoot from the middle of the ice. Both guys got shots on net here, and they get an eager guy to the front of the net in Horcoff too.
Stars win it, but cleanly out to center. Daly right back in. 5 left on the 2-man advantage with Doan and Ribeiro coming out. Here's Daly to Nichushkin. He shoots, hit the post. Peverley a backhander and a save. Coyotes are back at full strength. Ribeiro at center ice. Horcoff won't let him in. Phoenix is changing here. Stone driving it around the boards with 8:20 to play in the third. Dallas did not take advantage of that opportunity, and now Phoenix still very much alive. Ribeiro threw it in front. It's tipped by Hansel. Save Lettinen. Yandel whipping it. Save Lettinen. Rebound. Hansel, and it's blocked, and then a save by Lettinen. Gonchar back of the net. Hansel twisting out, shooting. Loose in front. Daly will take the icing.
That's a wise play. They were in a world of hurt and leaning on their netminder with a semi-mess on the ice in front of them. So just start this thing from a stop. Take your time out if you want. Chance at the other end, at the tail end of that 2-man advantage. Nichushkin, look at those deep Smith plays. Allows him to deal with stuff off on the sides, or deflections would have been his second of the night. So he's hit 2 pipes and scored a goal. Stars are going to take their time out here and talk responsibilities and give those that have been out here for a while on the second half of that power play a chance to get some air in their lungs. That's just an inexcusable wasted opportunity with that 2-man advantage, though. You could put a game away. They might still go on to win this. They're up by a couple of goals, but it would be a formality if they could just get one. The old Sergei Zubov rule should always come into play. If you've got 45 seconds or more on a 2-man advantage power play, you should be money.
Of course, you know the issue with the Sergei Zubov rule is Sergei Zubov was on the ice.
Well, I think a lot of other the Stars haven't scored a 5-on-3 power play goal this year. We're 60 games into the season.
Crazy. Off the icing and the timeout. Dallas can't clear it. Yandel shovels it into the corner. Mikkel Bodker. Daly's got them all tied up. Gonchar in front of his own net, easing it out. Now Dallas can get their change. 7.5 to play in the third. Stars hang on to this lead and win in regulation. They'll claim the 8th seed in the West prior to the Olympics break. Vermette tried to shovel it over to Yandel, who had come down from the left point. Fiddler. Maldum got the puck and clears. And Doan creeping over. Vermette going after the puck. Lettinen out to move it. It hit Vermette and goes out of play with 7:07 left in the third. Dallas 2, Phoenix nothing, as we head toward the Olympics break from American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas.
2 of the 3 most consistent in the point scoring department lately are trying to extend here tonight. Yet to do so. Antoine Vermette on a 9-gamer. Seguin, a career-high 7-game point streak. Been all around it here tonight. Could have had the helper on the Nichushkin chance that went off the pipe in the first period. A backdoor chance himself. He's probably had 3 or 4 good scoring chances. He's set up others. Power play would have been a wonderful spot to get that. Couldn't get it to go. The longest so far this season, 14 games. Patrick Kane and Ryan Getzlaf, both with 14-game point streaks.
Seguin has 6 shots in the game tonight. Garbett shot it. I think he might have, wasn't sure if that play was onside, and then Smith made the stop.
Garbett and Roussel were integral parts of the offense in the desert the other night. They're 2 of 6 undrafted players on the Stars roster. Only San Jose with 7 have more. You know, the guy who deserves some credit for Garbett and Roussel is Glenn Gulletson. Helped in finding them in the minor leagues, the depths of the minor leagues, and they've turned into everyday important players on this NHL roster.
Pair of 14s, Ben and Halpern. Halpern's very low. Ben will help from Nichushkin. Puck goes to the boards. Ben finds it himself. Seguin takes off to the front of the net. Connaughton finds him behind it. Shuffle away from Yandel. Find Ben for a shot. Save Smith.
That was a rocket.
Yeah, knockdown power. Nichushkin Ran into Chipchura. Nichushkin has the puck again. Tried to pass across. Here's Ben shooting wide. Smith really stretched out to find it. Chipchura now on the march into the Dallas zone. Stars come back to pick up defensively. Seguin peers over his shoulder to see who's coming off the Phoenix bench. Gonchar ties up his man Chipchura. Nichushkin worked it ahead to Seguin. And one final burst for these two. Offside.
Looking around, trying to get that puck over to his mate, and while he was looking around, they went offside. Well, you want to see why the Stars have been so good defensively lately. After Ben's one-timer, the other end, Smith fought off. They come hustling back into their own zone. Another look at Ben's shot from distance. When they did come back in their own zone, they caught everybody and got on the right side of the Coyotes in protecting this 2-0 lead.
The Moog kick from Lettinen. Eakin slid in to take the pass. Cole against Ekman Larsson. In front, Peverley. Tried to dust it off and shoot it. McCulloch took him all the way around behind. Cole burrowing in there with Bodker. And there's Ekman Larsson. Rink wide, Bodker has to stretch back for it. Gains the center line, shoots it in. Same kick play from Lettinen. Cole ahead to center, uncontested. He'll take the ice and bounce it in.
Really is a smart play, especially late in a period like this when pucks can bounce. You go back there with just the stick blade and they can hop over that, continue their assault on the puck. Instead, pad in behind it and boot it around.
Tight turn from Jordy Ben, leads to Chiasson, taking it into the zone, across from Whitney, and he hammered it over the top of the net. Hansel giving it away at the Dallas line. It's Whitney coming back for it. Chiasson at center ice had it go off his stick. Murphy with under 5 minutes to play in the third up. And Hansel shoves it over. Shots are 11-11 here in the third period of a 2-0 game. There's had a few bids on that two-man advantage. And here comes Garbutt. Using his speed to get past Halpern into the zone. Tried to shoot it, and Murphy hit him in the corner. Halpern with a pass ahead. Kennedy knocked off the puck by Gonchar. Coyotes wanted a call. Shane Doan barking at the referees from the bench. Fiddler taking it over the line. Fiddler shooting it. Schlemko blocked it. Fiddler back of the net. Wrapped up as Murphy and Roussel had collided. Kennedy to center ice. Now to Moss at the Dallas line. Goes through Kennedy's legs. Connaughton shoved him into the corner. Garbutt finished him off. And Roussel lost it, but Garbutt backed him up, and he'll flip it. Gently enough, no icing.
Where the Stars forwards have been impeccable with their effort to get back and be a third guy defensively with the two D-men.
Coyotes shoot it in. Bodker let it go. Stone to Vermette. The end of the middle. Got away from Doan. Daly again.
Boy, support and I think block shots here in the final 3.5 minutes be a big part of the MO.
Doan takes it over. Threw it in front right to Seguin.
Everybody in victory green below the top of the circles on that one.
And now Doan's going to take a penalty.
I think he just about decapitated Goligoski.
It's out of frustration, one would assume. Empty net for Dallas. Extra attacker is on as when Phoenix touches the puck, the whistle blows. Cole lumbering his way forward. Cut away from two Coyotes. Walked into Verbata. Dallas is just four-cornering it here a bit too. Peverley. And there's the whistle. So with 2:48 remaining in the game, Stars up 2-0. They go on a power play as they try and claim the 8th spot in the West prior to the Olympics break.
And Kari Lettinen, who's been perfect here tonight. Both are headed to the Olympics. Some debate as to who will start for Team Finland. The nod will probably go to Tuukka Rask of the Boston Bruins, but if I was picking, I'd pick this big Finn. He's been marvelous tonight. I don't think he's lost a puck in the game. His tracking has been sensational. He's under 3 minutes away from his third clean sheet in the last 8 starts. and he gets to watch from distance as the Stars power play tries to make this a 3-0 hockey game.
Fifth power play of the game. They're 0 for 4, including a 2-minute two-man advantage. Ben knocks it out. Goligoski passes over to Daly. Working clear to Moss. Back in the net for Chiasson. Chunks it around for Seguin. Went back into the corner, but right to McCulloch, who just cleared it over Goligoski's stick. Daly driving it back across. 2.5 minutes remaining in the game, and Smith will do it by himself. Trying to spring something. Halpern shot it. Goligoski blocked it wide. Daly under some duress. Ben getting over, pitched it past McCulloch, trying to catch up to it. Chiasson hits to the front of the net. Ben to Chiasson, a shot just wide. Kennedy plowing into Chiasson in the corner. Bodker will try it. Shooting it in, Lettinen. Up ahead to Seguin.
This will be a risk-taking penalty kill for the Coyotes.
Ben shot it, saved Smith, and that would have extended Sagan's point streak.
I think Jamie had to go up in the ice so many times he had nothing left, to get more than just a puck into the belly. Lots of open ice. Boy, there haven't been very many odd man opportunities in the game tonight. Tough angle, gassed at the end of a lengthy shift. Threw it right into the paniard again on Big Smith.
Eakin and Vermette. Eakin wins it. Gonchar shot from Jordy Ben, and Mike Smith has no choice.
Mike Smith's wife, Bridget, was an Olympic downhill skier for Canada way back when. They're expecting their third child, probably a boy as well. They're on that trip right now. Remember when he used to throw on her old ski suit on the charter flight when we took off? Some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
Look out, breakaway for Korpikoski, shorthanded, and a penalty coming up here.
Might go to center.
It is not.
Just a slash.
Yeah.
They're going to lobby for center.
Well, I think they should.
Penalty shot would restore the scoring chance that was taken away. Home free. I guess they're saying that was a reasonable scoring chance on the business end. That certainly looked like it should have been a penalty shot. And, you know, it's so big for them. And the whack on the hands, he never got the shot on net. That should be a penalty shot.
Yeah.
Instead, they even things up. They're going to bring Smith to the bench. So it becomes essentially a power play for the Coyotes here. Interesting little, you know, they'd like the opportunity to get one and then have their chance with some clock left. Instead, they got to go with this.
Face up to Lettinen's left, 1:38 remaining, 50 seconds left on the minor to Doan. Coyotes need two. They rescue to Yandel. Shot, it's blocked by Trevor Daly. Fiddler takes it out to center and put it into his own bench. He wanted to chip it and then go.
Man, oh man, that's a puck error because it brings the face-off deep in Dallas territory to the right of Kari Lettinen. That's just poor execution on the way out. Puck might have jumped up a little bit on rough ice. Through 2 periods, he was the Stars' best face-off guy. Really need it right now.
Won 6 out of 9 tonight. He does not win it. Vermette back out to Yandel. Passing to Ekman Larsson, and Fiddler does the work to clear it. Yandel back inside his own line. 1:15 to play, 2-0 Dallas. Empty net for the Coyotes. On a 4-on-4 with an extra attacker, Korpikoski centers it. Vermette in front to Yandel. He missed both Yandel and Korpikoski. And Roussel can't get it past Yandel. Hoists it into the corner for Verbata. Back out to Ekman Larsson. Passing it over to Yandel. Shot pass, tipped wide. Lettinen didn't see it. Back of the net, Verbata out toward Vermette. Doan is on. He'll join in the attacking zone with 45 to play. Ekman Larson to Doan. Shooting it. Save. Letman with the glove.
Man, if this is an audition for the starting gig with the Finns in Sochi, I'd give him the nod. This should have got out. Roussel gets this puck. They collapse down, and instead of lifting it up or using the boards, was what he should have done with Fiddler heading out into neutral ice, they turn it over and force Kari to make that save with Korpikoski right in his eyes as a visual inconvenience. His 26th save of the night. Man, he's been good. So timeout taken by the Coyotes. Both teams have taken that. How about this? If the Coyotes don't come up with a miracle here in the final 41 seconds, they will have won 2 in a row in regulation only 3 times this year. And again, they follow up a monster emotional win with a loss. Situationally motivated. They beat Pittsburgh at home and then fell flat to the Stars. And they beat Chicago at home in front of a full building. And they haven't been able to solve big Kari Lehtonen.
So power play here for the remainder of regulation. Unless Phoenix scores, Stars win the face-off. Dillon can shoot it down with impunity, and he does. Half a minute remaining, and Phoenix needs 2. Ekman Larson charging up through center ice, tossing it back to Yandel, driving it in from center. It hits Dillon and dies back of the net. Hansel on Jordy Ben in the corner. Verbata scrapes it off the boards. Looks interior. Out to Yandel for a shot. That's blocked. Verbata fires, scores! So they wreck the shutout with 14 seconds remaining and still will have one last dying chance.
Well, that's really unfortunate. Verbata seems to score game by game against the Stars. This is a screen. Hansel finally paid off in front with this screen. Kari could never find it off of the original shot toward the net that never got anywhere near him, and it came straight to Verbata, and he ripped that upstairs. Radim Verbata, 30 shots and 3 goals in his last 7 games, so he gets his opportunities. What are they looking at here? Why is there a delay?
There should not be a delay.
The Coyotes are getting a timeout out of this to talk this over. Wow. So the shutout is ruined, and now it comes down to a face-off win would be really handy here. They're going to leave Smith on the bench. They've got Bottker way over on the boards on the far side.
Goes back into the Coyote zone. Yandel sprinting after it. 10 seconds remaining. He'll shoot it across the line. Icing against Phoenix, and that should take care of it.
Boy, pretty interesting. You can see what Dave Tippett thought of Mike Ribeiro's game tonight. He wasn't on the ice for that power play set at the end. Not out here now. Took an undisciplined penalty earlier in the period. He's finishing this one on the pine. So Smith back in. I don't know if you can draw this play up.
I'm also not sure why Mike Smith is in the,
2-1 or 3-1.
Well, you'd have to have some slicksters. You can bring them with the rush.
Well, the Coyotes drug the puck to center ice. Stars throw it in. Smith.
He'll try to score.
That is a big standings win for the Dallas Stars.
The last time the Dallas Stars were in a playoff spot was April 13th of last season. They get it in regulation here tonight and head off to the Olympic break or the Olympics, depending on who you are, locking down the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Quite a charge here after a horrific opening month to 2014 to get real good again in February. Their stud in net was near perfect, deserved the shutout, but he'll take the win. A salute to the fans here at American Airlines Center. who were buzzing as they tried to lock this one down here tonight. Well done by the guys in Victory Green.
They have identical records, 27, 21, and 10 for both the Stars and the Coyotes. Dallas has the tiebreak, and so they are the 8th seed as we head to the Olympics break. Tonight's game produced by Jason Walsh, directed by Mark Vittorio. Doug Foster and Cody Eastwood are here. John Sponsler is in Sochi. For Daryl Ray and the rest of the gang, enjoy the Olympics, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. Post-game show is now.